I'm John Bennett, Roll Call's White House correspondent, and today we're coming to you from the White House. This week, with the Trump administration and the president were really trying to regain their footing after the president's first major legislative defeat, of course, last week when a Republican-crafted health care bill had to be pulled from the floor because conservative House groups and moderate Republicans opposed the bill, and President Trump and Speaker Paul Ryan could not get the necessary votes to pass the bill, so it was pulled from the floor. A big defeat for a president who ran hard on replacing President Obama's health law. There were signs this week that the president and House Republicans were ready to try again, possibly as quickly as before a recess that starts late next week.
The president, from the early days of his campaign, talked about repealing and replacing. It's a commitment that he made. I think he'd like to get it done.
On Thursday morning, the president sent out a stunning tweet in which he threatened members of the House Freedom Caucus, one of the groups that helped sink the bill last week, with trying to oust them in next year's midterm elections. Time will tell if the president is serious about that threat, but it poses the risk of starting a GOP civil war. And speaking of battles, next week will bring a major battle on the Senate side as the president and Senate Republicans try to push through his Supreme Court nominee, Neil Gorsuch. Democrats are threatening to filibuster the nomination, and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell appears poised to change Senate rules so Gorsuch and future Supreme Court nominees could be passed with a simple majority. That would be a landmark change to Senate rules, and it would make the next Supreme Court vacancy even bigger, and that's the one that will really tip the balance of the court. Also next week, the president will get out of town, and he probably is ready to get out of town after another rough week. He will travel to his golf resort in Mar-a-Lago in Florida, where he will host the Chinese President Xi. And this will be a key meeting, 2 days, next Thursday and Friday in Florida, with the Chinese president. Of course, President Trump very critical of the Xi administration, very critical of China on trade, on security, and a number of other issues. And with China as really the major competitor economically and otherwise to the United States, next week is a big moment for this president.